Hi and welcome to our new YouTube tutorial. In this video we're going to talk about one of the most popular programming languages in the world called JavaScript. In this crash course we will go through lots of different JavaScript topics with some practical examples. First of all, we need to figure out what is JavaScript and what it is used for. So JavaScript is a programming language which is used to create dynamic website content. In other words, using JavaScript you can move things, change them, update, and so on. It allows us to create things like slideshows, animations, interactive forms, and much more. Actually, things like slideshows and animations can be created using pure HTML and CSS, but using JavaScript we can create such things in a much simpler and powerful way. Nowadays, JavaScript is one of the most popular and widely used programming languages. Initially, it was created only for client-side purposes. I mean that the JavaScript engine was built in browser. It allowed us to run the JavaScript code to the browser without any additional tools. But then, thanks to a technology called Node.js, we are able to run the JavaScript code in the server as well. Alright, I think it would be better if we see in practice how JavaScript actually works, and the first thing that we need to figure out is how to write your first JavaScript code. I have created a new folder called JavaScript Crash Course on the desktop, in which I have just a single index.html file. Let's open it in VS Code. Right now it is empty. Let's go ahead and insert here a basic HTML document. For that I'm going to use emmet. We need to place an exclamation mark, and then we have to press the tab or enter. Okay, so here we go. Let's change the title, make it JavaScript Crash Course. Alright, let's go ahead and run the file to the browser using the live server. It's actually one of the VS Code packages, and it helps us to run the project to the browser live and make the changes without refreshing the page each time. So it is a great package and I recommend to install and use it. Okay, finally, let's organize a little bit our working environment. I'm going to place the editor and browser side by side and then get started. Alright, so to write the JavaScript code we have two different ways, internal and external. At first, let's demonstrate the internal method. So we have to open the script tags, which should be placed right above the closing body tag. Actually, we can place them almost anywhere in HTML, but this one is a good practice. It helps the browser to load the web page faster. So this way of writing JavaScript is called the internal method, because we write JavaScript and HTML in the same file. Let's write here our very first line of code, console.log hello world. Actually, this method allows us to run the code to the console. Let's inspect the page and open the console tab. So as you can see, we have here the output hello world. You can also see here on the right hand side that this text is generated from the 10th line of the index.html file. Actually, console is really a great tool to test things, debug the applications, and get the results and outputs. So throughout this tutorial we'll be working in the console very frequently. Alright, let's figure out how the code actually works. As we already said, there is built something called JavaScript Engine in the browser. So the browser reads the HTML code line by line. When it reaches to the script tags, the browser understands that the content inside the script tags is no longer the HTML, and it calls the JavaScript engine to translate it. Alright, so this is the internal method of writing JavaScript. The next way to write the JavaScript code is called an external method. So to use this method we need to create another file in our folder. Let's call it script.js. The extension of JavaScript files should be .js. In order to connect the JavaScript file to HTML we need to create a link between them. Let's do that. Delete this line of code here because we don't need it anymore. Then inside of the opening script tag, specify the path of the script.js file. For that we have to use source attribute, and we have to pass here the path of the JavaScript file. Now let's go to the script.js file and put here the same code. I mean console.log hello world. You can see that we've got here the exact same output. You can use either internal or external methods, both work fine, but the second one is a much better practice because it's more organized, and when you need to use the same JavaScript code for multiple pages, you can write it once and link the JavaScript file to all HTML pages. Alright, so that's it about what JavaScript is and how to write it. Now it's time to talk about one of the most fundamental aspects of JavaScript and actually every programming language. I'm going to discuss variables. In general, variables are used to store some information, and we can consider them as containers which hold information that we can use multiple times and change it dynamically as well. In order to declare the variables in JavaScript, we can use three different keywords. The first one is var, then we have let and const. Actually, the keyword var has been using since JavaScript was created, and now after the release of the ES6 JavaScript version, or sometimes it is called ECMAScript 2015, mostly let and const are used. We will discuss all three declarations because var is still used in production, so you should know how it works, but then in the future, throughout this tutorial, we will use let and const. Okay, enough to talk, let's go ahead and create some variables. In order to do that, we have to use keyword var. This warns the JavaScript engine that it needs to reserve some memory to store the data later. After that, you should set the name of the variable. Let's write here person. Many other programming languages, which are called strongly typed languages, like Java or C#, require you to declare not only the variable, but also the type of the data. However, JavaScript is a weakly typed language, and you don't need to limit yourself to what type of data the variable can hold. It means that the JavaScript engine understands itself what type of data you're going to store in the variable. Okay, so in this case, we have just declared or initialized the variable. Let's run this code to console. Actually, in order to run console.log, you can just type clg, and then Emmet will autocomplete this function. Let's insert here the name of the variable person. As you see, we got here undefined. So it means that we have not assigned any value to the variable yet. Let's go ahead and assign to it some value. Let's say John. In this case, we used string value. That's why we enclose the name within quotes. Actually, regarding the data types, we will talk a bit later. You can just simply use this value. So as you can see, we got here John, which is the value of our variable. We're able to reassign some other value to the variable. For that, we no longer need to use the var keyword. We can directly use the name with a different value. Let's say Nick. If we run again the variable to the console, then we will get at first John from the first console.log, and then this value will be overwritten by a new one, and we will get Nick. Alright, let's talk a little about how we can name the variables. We can start a variable name with letters like we did here. Also, we can use underscore or $sign, but actually those two types of names are not recommended to use. We can use numbers in names, but we are not allowed to start names with them. If the name of the variable consists of two or more different words, then as usual we use Camel Case method. Let's say we need to create a variable with the name first name. So Camel Case means that every word except the first one starts with a capital letter. Besides that, you may meet the Pascal case method. Let's create another variable, last name. In this case, each word, including the first one, starts with a capital letter. But actually, this approach is not quite frequently used. You may come across Pascal case mostly in object-oriented programming. Besides that, we are able to use underscore with such names of the variables, and also you can write them in lowercase as well. But mostly you will meet the camel case, which in my opinion is more readable and convenient. Alright, there are some other rules which we need to protect with the names of the variables. We cannot use space inside of the name. Also the minus sign, because it means the subtraction in JavaScript and it is used in arithmetical operations. And we cannot start names with signs except underscore and $sign. And also, as we said, with numbers. Okay, that was all about var. Let's go ahead and talk about let and const. Actually, keyword let is similar to var. We can use it when we want to update the content of the variable dynamically. Let's create a new variable, age, and make it 30. Then run it to the console. So as you can see, it works in the exact same way as the var keyword does. If we update this value and make it, let's say, 35, then run again it to the console, then we'll get an updated age. So again, let is quite similar to var, but there are a couple of differences between them. Actually, it's kind of advanced stuff, and we are not going to explain it here because it is a JavaScript crash course. If you're curious to know those things in detail, then you can check out our JavaScript bootcamp, in which we explain all this stuff in depth. You can find the link in the description. Okay, let's talk about const. This keyword itself stands for constant, which means that if we declare the variable with const, then we are not able to change its value. For example, let's create a new variable, city, and assign to it London. Then run it to the console. So we've got London, but if we reassign to it a different value, let's say Rome, then we will get an error saying assignment to constant variable. So remember that when you use a const variable, you no longer can update the value of the variable. Besides that, if you're going to use const, you cannot just declare the variable. For example, if we create variable color without assigning to it any value, then we will get another error saying that we are missing initializer in const declaration. So remember that if you declare a variable using const, then you should definitely assign to it some value. Alright, that's it regarding variables in JavaScript. As we said, throughout this crash course, we're going to use let and const as the variable declarations. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Now I'm going to talk about JavaScript data types. In JavaScript, almost everything is an object. The object is a little bit complex data type, and right now we won't refer to it. Any data type which is not an object can be considered as the primitive data type. So let's go ahead and talk about primitive data types in JavaScript. JavaScript provides 5 types of primitive data: string, number, Boolean, undefined, and null. Strings in JavaScript are used to store some text and manipulate it. Create a new variable. I'm going to call it str, string, and assign to it the value John is a developer. Now you're telling the JavaScript engine that this value should be treated as the text and not as something else, simply by enclosing it with the quotes. Let's run it to the console. So here we have our string, John is a developer. In order to prove that this value is a string, I'm going to use type of operator. So you can see that the value is a string. Alright, that's it about strings. Now let's move on to the numbers. JavaScript has only one type of number. Unlike many other programming languages, JavaScript does not define different types of numbers like integers, floating points, and etc. Numbers can be written with or without decimals. Let's write some examples. I'm going to create variable num, let's make it 27. Let's run it to the console. So we have here 27. And also you can notice that the color of the value is different. It's kind of purple. If we check the type of this data using, again, type of operator, then we will get here number. We can write numbers with decimals as well. One thing to note regarding numbers is that if we write it within quotes, then the JavaScript engine will understand that the type of the value is a string and not a number. You see here clearly that it is a string. Besides that, you can notice that the color of the value is changed. Alright, the next primitive data type is a Boolean. It has two possible values, true and false. The purpose of Boolean data in JavaScript is just the same as in the world outside programming. It enables you to answer questions and then make some decisions based on the answer. Mostly, Boolean data types are used in conditional statements, and just for demonstration purposes, I would like to show you this example. I'm going to create a variable number 1 equal to 10, then number 2 with the value 20. Let's go ahead and compare these numbers in console. Right, number 1 is less than number 2. You see that we have true because the statement is actually true. 10 is less than 20. If we write the opposite, number 1 is greater than number 2, then the result will be false, and I'm sure you understand why. Finally, let's prove that the Boolean data type exists in JavaScript. I'm going to create a variable called bool equal to true, and then let's check its type. As you see, we have here Boolean. Alright, let's move on and declare the new variable. In this case, I'm going to use let because, as you remember, we cannot just declare variables with const. Let's run it to the console. As you see, we have undefined. So undefined means that the variable doesn't have any value. If we check the type of this data, we will get undefined. Alright, let's talk about the last primitive data type, which is null. As we saw in the previous example, undefined means a variable that is declared, but it's not assigned a value yet. Null is an assignment value. Let's create variable b and assign to it null, and then run it to the console. So null can be assigned to a variable as a representation of no value. So the variable whose value is null was explicitly given a value of null, which means that the variable was explicitly set to have no value. In other words, null is nothing and it is supposed to be something that doesn't exist. I hope it makes sense to you. Alright, that's it about the primitive data types in JavaScript. Let's move on and talk about operators.